The selfish and the greedy God. Part 1. 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. I'm taking it. Or everything that belongs to the world. If you love the world, you do not love the Father. Everything that belongs to the world, what the sinful self desire, what people see and want, and everything in this world proud of, none of this come from the Father. Meaning everything in the world, everything that we are proud of, which is in this world, that thing doesn't come from. If you have a wife and you are so proud of your wife doesn't come from God. If you have a husband and you are proud of your husband, it means your husband doesn't come from God. If you have a property and your property, you are so proud of it, your property doesn't come from God. If you have a pastor, if you have a prophet that leads your church and you are so proud of that pastor or prophet, automatically that pastor is not from God. I'm not speaking, the Bible is speaking. Or say, what people see and want, and everything in this world that people are so proud of, none of this come from the Father. It all comes from the world. The world and everything in it that people desire is passing away. But those who do the will of God live forever. So anything in this world that you are so proud of doesn't come from God. Okay. We should not love the world or anything that belongs to the world. Haggai chapter 2, the verse number 8. Shade. I think now we are decoding the topic. I think about the topic now. Say Haggai 2, verse 8. Verse 8. No, listen carefully to what the God is saying here. Haggai 2:8. The God says, Haggai 2:8. The God says, all the silver and the gold of the world is mine. All the silver and the gold of the world is mine. Nti, all the gold and the silver of this world belongs to the God. But 1 John chapter 2 verse 15 is also saying that anything that you are proud of doesn't come from God. Does it mean that no one is proud of the gold? Does it mean that no one is proud of silver? 1 John chapter 2 verse 15, he said anything that you are so proud of doesn't come from the Lord, doesn't come from God, but that thing comes from the world itself. But here we come, Haggai chapter 2, the verse number 8. The God says, all the silver and the gold of the world is mine. Oti, the God say all the silver and the gold of the world belongs to him. So you can see that this is a very rich God. True of us. If all the gold of South Africa, all the gold in Nigeria, all the gold in Ghana, all the gold in the rest part of the world, all this gold belong to God, and all the silvers which are in the world, if all these silvers and the gold belong to God, it means this God is very, very, very rich. True of us. True of us. Now, the God who is so rich to this extent, listen to the same God. Malachi chapter 3 verse 10. The verse number 10. The God says, bring the full amount of your tithe to the temple, so that there will be plenty of food there. The God that possesses all the gold and the silver cannot provide food in his own house unless you send 10% of your income before the God can have food in his house. Is it not out of selfishness? If this is not an act of greediness, you have the money, but you don't want to use your own to buy food, unless your friend buy food before you get some to eat. Are you not greedy? Are you not selfish? Are you not stupid? I mean, are you not insane? God, you are dealing in gold. You are dealing in silver. Why can't you buy food for your own self? Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Bring the full amount of your tithe to the temple, so that there will be plenty of food there. Selfish God, greedy God, true or false? True or false? Let's continue. Psalm 50, the verse number 9 to 12. Let's go. Small, we will reach there. Bye. Psalm 50 verse 9. And yet, David is speaking on behalf of the God. David is here talking on behalf of the God. So let's listen. David is speaking on the behalf of God, meaning what David is saying is from the God. So let's go. Psalm 50 verse 9. And yet I do not need bull from your farm. Listen to what the God is saying here. The God says he does not need bulls from your farm or goat from your flock. All the animals in the forest are mine. The God is saying that all the animals in the forest are his. Okay. And the cattle on thousands of hills. The God is saying that cattle on thousands of hills are all his own. So if you go to the northern part of Ghana, our people, the shepherd, God is saying that all those all those animals belongs to him. Okay, accepted. We are not challenging here. Accepted. Let's go. All the wild birds are mine, and all living things in the field. Until the God is saying that all. Okay, let me read it for you. Psalm 50 verse 9 coming. And yet I do not need bulls from your farm or goat from your flock. All the animals in the forest are mine, and the cattle are on thousands of hills. All the wild birds are mine, and all living things in the field. Verse 12. Verse 12. If I were hungry, I will not ask you for food, for the well and everything in it is mine. The God says, verse 12, if I were hungry, I will not ask you for food, for the well and everything in it is mine. Verse 13. Do I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? After Yakob on a question. Until the God says, if he God, if he the God of this book, if he were to be hungry, as human being for food, because all the cattle on thousands of hills, all the wild bird and every living thing belongs to him. And again, the God is saying that he does not eat the flesh of bulls, nor does he drink the blood of goats. Accepted. Correct. Fine case. Let us check. The God says he will not ask human being for food. True or false? Numbers chapter 21. Numbers chapter 28, the verse number 1. Just look at this. The Jews will be saying Torah, Torah, Torah. Look at this. Numbers 28, verse 1. Let's listen. The Lord commanded Moses to instruct the Israelites to present to God at the appointed time the required food offering. Enye cloth offering. Enye data offering. This is not shoe offering, but food offering that are pleasing to him. So let me take it for you again. The Lord commanded Moses to instruct the Israelites to present to God at the appointed time the required food offering that are pleasing to him. Meaning, the food offering the peoples of Israel present to the God, God is okay with it. It pleases the God. So God has eaten the food offering for the first time, and he saw that it is very tasty. So he's asking for more. And this comes with instruction. But the same God, according to David, he is saying that if he were to be hungry, he will not ask human being for food. So my question is, the peoples of Israel, are they not human being? If they are human being, then which is which here? So if you say the God is greedy and selfish, you, the God that be all the animals, the cattle, everything belongs to you. You cannot kill one of them to prepare your goat pepper soup. The God can kill just one of his goats for the dinner, and all the cattle, everything he's talking about are there. Now he's asking the peoples of Israel to bring him food to eat. Huh? At the verse 13, Psalm 50, verse 13, the God asks question: do you think I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goat? Look at this, the God who is asking that question, meaning the God means he does not eat those things. But let's check whether he eats or not. Leviticus chapter 3, the verse number 12 to 16. Yeah, through telling time, brain at work. Leviticus 3. The greedy and selfish God. Verse 12. Listen to this part carefully. The God says, if a man offers a goat, he shall put his hand on its head and kill it in front of the tent. The priest shall throw its blood against all four sides of the altar and present the following part as food offering to the Lord. The God who says he does not eat the flesh of goat nor drink the blood of bull. Listen, the goat that he said does not eat, no, the same goat is being referred to in the book of Leviticus. So let me read for you again. Leviticus chapter 3, verse 12. If a man offers a goat, so put it in your head, goat, he shall put his hand on its head and kill it in front of the tent. The priest shall throw its blood against all four sides of the altar. Verse 14. And present the following part as a food offering to the Lord: all the fat on the internal organs, the kidney and the fat on them, and the best part of the liver. The priest shall burn all this on the altar as a food offering pleasing to the Lord. So, the God who has everything, he can't kill one of his own goats. The God, before the God eat, unless somebody bring food offering before that God can eat. And David is saying that God is saying, if he were to be hungry, he will not ask you for food. All the animal or so and so belongs to him. You see the selfish and greedy God? The selfish and the greedy God. Have you now seen it? Let's continue. Ephesians chapter 4, the verse number 28. Let's check something there. The book of Ephesians chapter 4, the verse number 28. Let us be watchful. Verse 28. Those who used to rob must stop robbing. Paul say, if you are a robber, stop it. So Paul is saying that it is not good to rob someone. Correct. Let's read. Those who used to rob must stop robbing and start working in order to earn an honest living for themselves and to be able to help the poor. Nice quotation from brother, and nice message from Paul, but the same Paul. Let's check the same Paul. Paul say, those who used to rob must stop robbing and start working in order to earn an honest living for themselves and to be able to help the poor. Correct, pure and good message, but the same Paul in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 8. 2 Corinthians 2 Corinthians 11 the verse number 8. Paul say we must not rob, but let's see here verse 8. Paul say, while I was working among you, I was paid by other churches. I was robbing them, so to speak, in order to help you. Paul say, while I was working among you, I was paid by other churches. I was robbing them. Paul say, no, or robby. Solid can. But the same Paul says, do not rob. Me we are there. Mana Paul. Na ovia asole bi seriously. The selfish, greedy God. Have you seen how things are happening? It is the word of God, It is the word of God. Is that how your God works? This is the blueprint of your God. The Jewish and the Christian God. This is how your God is seen, No problem. There is a law in the Bible. Exodus chapter 22, the verse number 16. Look at this thing carefully. Ebusian, you will cry after this. Look at this. Exodus 22, verse 16. I read. The verse number 16 is saying, if a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged, he must pay the bride price for her and marry her. The Bible is saying that if a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged, he must pay the bride price for her and marry her. She na say abrante bi kodada ababawa a yanji na ware na onyini da onkoma ne trade no onwal no. Nice law yagiatum na ibebisa say according to New Testament, Mary was engaged to Joseph. Obisa Christian apologetics now no say engagement keke onyan ware no. So even without reading the Bible quotations, God seduces Mary and lay with Mary, and Mary born God a son called Jesus, and you cannot deny this. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, meaning God has a son. So the father is God, the mother is Mary, and the son is Jesus. So one question we ask is, who is the mother of Jesus? Mary. Who is the father of Jesus? God. Who is married to God? Either you tell me wife or girlfriend. It's either you say wife or girlfriend. Who is married to God? Or who is God to marry? Husband or boyfriend? Hi! After seducing Mary, lay with her, and got a child out of her womb, the God couldn't marry Mary later. But he is saying that if a man seduces a virgin after laying with her, go and pay the bride price and marry her. Why God didn't go to Elizabeth and the parents of Mary, pay the bride price and marry Mary? Why the God didn't do that? He's only there to satisfy his selfish interest. You see, God. So among the angels, there's no female angel. The God who has interest in human being, the God who has sex, the God who has sexual desire. Genesis chapter 6. They say, children of God saw the children of men, and they saw that they are beautiful. So they took some of them they like and married them. The God himself is doing it here. God seduces Mary, but Ruth couldn't marry her later. And those who say that no, Mary legitimately married Joseph, Deuteronomy 22:22. They say if a man is caught having sexual intercourse with another man's wife, both the woman and the man are to be put to death. So if Deuteronomy 22:22 is to be applied, God is to be killed. Okay? If a man is caught having intercourse with another man's wife, both of them are to be put to death. So it is either Mary's husband is Joseph and God has intercourse with Mary, so God and Mary are to be put to death, or Mary is not the wife of Joseph and God has intercourse with Mary, and God is to go and marry Mary. God is to pay the bride price for Mary and marry her. What did I say? The selfish God, the selfish and greedy God. This is what we are studying. Now, the selfish and the greedy God part